So let's also talk about receiving as another aspect of our last discussion. Many people say it's easier to receive. I agree with most of you that have said that, but there comes with it burden of receiving. So it is easier to receive, but there's a serious burden which makes it difficult receiving. Because in the first place, what do you receive? You could receive tangible things. You could receive advice. You could receive some information. And it becomes a burden when you don't know what to do with it. For instance, if I'm giving you money without me telling you, if you're in a difficult situation, I'm giving you money without me telling you, go and do this with this money, go and do this thing that will help you with this money. It's very easy to receive. And when you receive that money, what you receive, you might not really value it sometimes because you feel it comes so cheaply or easily. So if it's money, you might decide to spend that money on other things. I've seen situations where I've given people money. Maybe they came that, okay, things are not easy with me, and you give them money. In the end, they cannot be accountable for what you're giving them, to themselves and to you. Of course, you're not asking them to give the money back. You're not asking them to return anything to you, but you are expecting to see changes, or expecting them coming to tell you, this is what I've done with what you given me. So that burden of receiving is there. Again, you give some person's information. What do they do with the information? Information that will help them. I give an example. When I was doing training, free training, I'm still also doing it, internship training for 6 months. There are so many people we invited. We give them information. Come and get this information. You know the questions they ask you. After the training, will they pay me? After the training, will they give me work? You're giving them information. There is just to receive. But you see the burden they carry before coming to you or even in receiving that information. So if you give or if you are receiving and you cannot translate what you're receiving into something tangible, it becomes a burden. So receiving is easy in the ordinary sense of it, but the burden that comes with it makes it difficult receiving. So because there are high expectations. Again, those who receive have high expectations. When you give them the first time, they're expecting more. When you give them the second time, they feel that sense of entitlement. When you continue giving them, they have that sense of it's my right. So let's receive. And it's connected to giving. If you receive and you cannot translate it into something meaningful, or if you have something and you cannot information and you cannot translate that information or make use of that information, again, it will be difficult to you for you to also give. So receiving, if you receive and you cannot make use of it, and even if you receive, how much have you touched another person with what you receive? So it's not just receiving and keep on receiving, but think out of the box. What are you going to do? What to receive information? Sometimes you receive information that you yourself you don't need it, but you can give it to somebody else. That is how you make use of receiving. So it's not necessarily about you. Receiving should not only be about you. You can receive on behalf of other persons. Now, I've seen persons where people where they got information and say, take this information, it will help you. That is the benefit. That is how you make use of receiving. And that will remove that burden from you because you've already received that information, though you don't use it by giving somebody else. So receiving is easier, but it comes to the burden that makes it difficult. I hope you get something very important.